And welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of Scott Talk. I appreciate you being here. If you would like to support the show, anyone can do that. Just please hit subscribe or like, depending on the platform you are observing. And also, we are on Patreon. Just look up Scott Talk. For as little as $2 a month, you can get early releases and other behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. And some pretty cool stuff I'll throw in there. But for now, let's get to this interview with Donnie Vie, one of my all-time favorite people. Here we go. Donnie Vie, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show, man.
What's going on, man? Good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's been a few months at least. Well, it's been over a few months.
It's been over a year.
About the time you were doing the Instant Karma video is about the time.
Yeah. Well, I think, you did that. You assisted on that whole record, the Beautiful Things record, which was cool. So I seen you every day for a while there.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally in the loop with everything. And then, my life got a little busy and I kind of fell out a little bit. So
you got a lyric on one of the songs on the record.
Oh my God!
Which one is it? Birthday video. It's on Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue? I thought it was Falling Through the. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't question the actual songwriter. Yeah.
No, don't. I'll hang up on you.
Yeah, I got a word, man. I got a word and a woo at that was Falling Through the Pages. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. The word was big, though, for me. I could not find that word. I just didn't know what to say there, and you came up with that word. It's like, that's the word.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that you were looking for a replacement for that word, and of course, I spent days and days trying to think of something. I had nothing.
Did you? Did you spend that much time thinking about it? I thought you was just off the top of your head. I spent days thinking about it.
Well, it was when I said birthday that I thought of it right at that second, but I had nothing of days of trying to come up with something. I'm like, this might be my only chance to get on Donnie's album with something I could be, hey, that's me.
You got in there, right? You yelled something in one of the other songs, but I was using what was it, sex tape video, and it was terrible. I was like, I can't say that. It was lame.
Yeah.
But birthday was great.
Birthday, yeah. I just thought, I don't actually, I'm not even going to give myself credit because it just kind of popped in my head. So I could have been anyone. I think I was just like, some puppet for somebody higher up. But
most of the other people I've worked with would want their name on the song or put their name on the song by now for that.
I remember that's like the first thing you said to me, like, you're not going to want your name on the song, are you? And I'm like, no.
They've taken it for a lot less contribution than that.
I'm sure. And yeah. So let's talk about, you have a new single coming out, right? Called Party Time, and with an accompanying video. Well,
I was going to release the song a while ago because I came up with it after we did the record and everything. The label wasn't exactly, I don't know what the word for it, but it wasn't, it just wasn't getting much action or anything. And I was just watching a great record, best record I've ever done, just kind of go down getting lost. And then and we were just getting ready to go out and start live performing the record, I was just getting my band together and stuff. And then all of a sudden the pandemic came and kind of left me off the hook a little bit because that's a lot of work. And I haven't gone out and toured or anything like that in like 6-7 years, and so then it was like, well, what do I do now? It's like, I don't have any money to make another record, you know what I mean? Because that costs money. And so I didn't have any contract with the label, anything further than Beautiful Things. So I thought, well, let's go for a single, and put out a vinyl 45, and that would be cool. And, we'll just do work out a deal with you where that's acceptable to me, and then I pushed it back a few times because I couldn't get the track sounding right, and then just timing for a song called Party Time. It's just haven't had good timing for it. And then about a month or so ago, we was telling the label, hey, listen, we got to push it back again, because all of a sudden now this guy, old friend from the past, a good friend, came back into the picture and offered to shoot a video, like a pro quality video. He's in California premiering Michael Madsen movie, American Badass. It's a documentary about Michael Madsen.
Right.
So
right.
he has all this great equipment now, and so I'm not going to give away what it's about, the video, because it does have a storyboard, and I play a character in it, plus the live performance. I even asked my bass player. He came down with lymphoma, and so now I was kind of stranded without a bass player. So who I called? I only know one bass player besides myself and you, but I'm going to call you. But you're not good looking for the video, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Got a face for radio, yeah.
Yeah, so I called Chip. Chip came down and shot the video with us, and with that, this video is still not finished and finished being edited, but what happened was, as soon as I told the label that we got to stall it again, then they started giving me a hard time and telling me it's going to cost me money and stuff like that because of having to pull it down off Amazon and iTunes and all the places that it was already up and loaded and ready to go. And then actual records had been pressed and made, and they were already loaded up certain places. I'm like, well, unload them. You know what I mean? Because it's not going out yet, because we're making this video now. And this is this particular song. It's like, by no means would I consider this one of my greatest or deepest or with the most integrity of any of the songs that I've done in the past. But this particular one has the most marketability of anything that I've ever came up with. And I've been trying to write one like this for my whole career. Chip and I were struggling, racking our brains trying to think of, we need one of those songs that, like I want to rock and roll all night, party every day, ain't nothing but a good time. We are the champions, some shit like that could be played at sports things, or get a beer commercial, some shit like that, So this song is that, and so it was ready to go. I've let a few people hear it. It's already on a couple of copies. I've already got a couple of the vinyl records that were previewed from the record label and stuff, and all these inserts to sign and shit. It's I think there's 545 already stuff, and they're just I'm throwing those in the garbage. I just decided to retract the song because it didn't. Once now I got this video, now I got this situation, and it didn't feel like it held up to follow the Beautiful Things record as far as I was concerned. It was kind of one-dimensional as opposed to something being like three-dimensional, like with the sound of Beautiful Things and stuff like that. So I went and I recut all my guitars. I had asked Chip, and he played the bass, and got Roger again from Jellyfish, did all the brass and piano and stuff like that. Right. And now it's sounding really, and then I got Tholen to mix it. So he's involved again, and he tried shaking me down for more money the other day, but I couldn't. I had to play the broke loser card, you know what I mean? And so he's chilled out, but I mean, it's for whatever you could say about Mike Tholen, you can't say that he's not one of the best, you know what I mean? He's a dick, but he's one of the best. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. To me, he was intimidating. I was intimidated by him. I'm not really sure why, because he is a nice guy. I mean, he was always nice to me.
He wasn't nice to you. He was, as far as he was concerned, you didn't do shit. You lay around, you didn't clean the dishes, you didn't do fucking anything. He's like, this fucking guy hanging around, laying laying on the couch all day and stuff. And I went to bat for you every day with that. I go, hey, I like him here. It's good for my vibe. I like him here. He does anything I really need and stuff like that. He's not a fucking engine. He's not a tech engineer. He's a guy that it was a big fan that wanted to come and help and stuff. You know, you were working for, I don't know if you even made any money.
I made no money. I spent money on travel, you know.
Tried to replace the money you'd spend on beer and stuff I'd have you sneak out and get me some beer, shit. Right. So I was having some issues through that again. And it turned out that remember how I was really feeling sick every day and stuff. That's why I was drinking the beer and sneaking it and stuff. But it turned out a month later, I was in the hospital, almost died of the pancreatitis. That's what it was. And so.
Yeah, I remember saying to you, I'm like, dude, you were making a record while you were that sick? I mean, I was like, I was just thinking to myself, how did he get through that? Like, because you would say I'm not feeling good, but you could never tell, by looking at you that, I mean, very rarely did you ever look not well, It was pure drive and pure will and energy. That the same reason I survived that thing is, I mean, I had the moment where the doctors came in and told me I'm going to die and shit. I was in there over a month and not anything to eat and nothing to drink. It couldn't give me any water, nothing for fucking over a month. And the doctor, and he's telling me, you're not, you should get your affairs in order because this could very well be it for you. And I'm like, said, you should get the fuck out of my room. Said, you don't even know me, man, because I just felt and I knew that I wasn't going to die. My energy is not ready to give up yet, and my purpose is not completely served. But it's just pure energy and will. The same reason I've continued to do this for over 30 years and not really made a dime. I mean, it cost me money to do what I do, but there's a lot of people who have told me, that like my fan base is small but mighty, and what it has meant to them, the music and the songs, and how it's literally saved some of their lives, and it's made that big of a difference. Which, right there alone, one guy tells you saved my life. I was going to kill myself until this song. That's right there. That's payment enough for your whole career. Because what kind of price can you put on a person's life and all the ripple effect of their family and the people's lives affected by that. So as you were asking me earlier, why do I continue to still do this? For that reason, because the song gods or whatever is still kicking these songs at me, better each time. I'm still improving. I'm still evolving and growing. And also, I'll never, I couldn't possibly lift a shovel or flip a hamburger or anything for fucking money, not for a living. The hours alone I couldn't hang with, what I mean? The only time I'm up at 9 a.m. is when I'm still up, man. I think the only way you'd show up on time is by accident.
I showed up on time. I was there. I was living there, and it still wouldn't be on time. Remember? Have my beer all hidden in the bushes and shit. Scott, get me 3 tall boys, hide them in the bushes, run out there and have a sip here and there. But by no means did I pick up my, relapse into my old ways and stuff. That was just to have some sort of enthusiasm, some kind of medication to get me, because it takes a lot out of you. You have to put a lot of yourself out to write and create and play and then perform and sing those songs with that kind of energy and this and that when you're feeling like death, and weeks laying there where I just couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And Mike's, getting pissed off, but he was getting a handle on certain things. And, it's like everything happens for a reason and purpose. And I know I'm here for a certain reason. I know I have a purpose, and I know that there's powers that be are orchestrating and pulling the puppet strings. And so, it's a crazy thing. I'm aware of a lot of things that most people aren't aware of. I'm tuned into certain energies and frequencies and stuff that most people aren't. And when those tell me that you've done your job, and it's time to kick back. That's when I'll do that.
Yeah, and you mentioned, that, every once in a while you get someone that says, your music saved their life. Now, I'm not going to be, as dramatic, but when your first album came out, I believe it was my senior year in high school, and I was just having just a terrible time with everything. Everything sucked, But that album came out, and I started listening to it. I swear to God, and I'm like, these guys are from Chicago. I'm like, you can actually make it out of Chicago? You got to be kidding me. I thought you had to be in LA or New York. So, man, that, just knowing that, and then eventually getting in, listening to the music over and over and be like, oh my God, these guys are great. Why are they so good? Oh, they like the Beatles. I saw in your thanks that you thank the Beatles, or I heard somewhere you like the Beatles, and I'm like, okay, that's a little odd for, a band coming out around that time back in like 89, 90,
that's the problem with all those bands at that time. Nobody was looking to those kind of influences, like real, genuine, great influences to
exactly.
They were following each other. It was the dumb leading the blind. And
Right.
I'm not knocking any of these guys, because a lot of them turned out to become friends and stuff. Right. And I respect what they did, because it's a business to some people. Everybody isn't born with this artistic mission, you know what I mean? Which that was never my concern, was never rich and fame. I wasn't looking for that. In fact, all the performing and the massive amount of people and stuff, worked on I suffer from really bad anxiety, and that had a lot to do with a lot of the medicating that I did, and so that's never been my forte. And I never need anything. I've had houses, I've had this and that. I don't need any of that, nor do I ever cared about any of it. You know what I mean? I just would take care of my family or friends and stuff like that. And so, it's all about my goal and my dream was to be able to one day create something that would have the effect on someone else that like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and that stuff had on me. You know what I mean? And I think I did that.
Yeah, definitely, man. The lack of like solid influences, I think, can sort of wear on a band after a little while. I think they may get lucky with a hit or two, but then they kind of sit around the studio, maybe looking at each other like, "What now?"
Yeah, they're singing about their dicks,
right?
Singing about what to do with their dicks and stuff. And
It's
so,
got to be. It's got to be more than that.
I couldn't find that cheese. Yeah, I couldn't get into that cheese, and that's why, like, another thing, like I'm saying about this song that I'm going to release is, I knew I needed to write one of these, but I figured I guess it'll come to me when it does. But it still had to have the integrity of what I do, So it was a tough one to find something that did that, but I did it, and I know I've been saying it's coming out for a long time, but now with this video is going to be fantastic. It's a big video. Like, I haven't done anything like this since like Fly Michelle or Baby Loves You and stuff. And it's like the real deal. And the character portrayal and the storyboard in it and stuff like that is people are going to laugh their fucking asses off. It's, I'm going for the entertainment factor before how sexy I look, you know what I mean? And so it's all going to come out. We're shooting for it. Want to try to get it out. New Year's Eve would be a great day to release it, party time,
Yeah, that's the day, man. If you could make that happen, that's good.
There's a little more editing to do. There's even another scene I got to shoot. And my niece has to shoot it, and my drummer Greg, we got to shoot one more scene. So I got to find a way to get my appearance back to what I looked like at the time of that. You have to get my hair cut and all this and that. But these things need to be shot and lined up, and synced where everybody can be involved and take care of this. And then a lot of the editing of the performance stuff, I had to sit and actually go through the clips to find that stuff, because what one guy thinks I look good and I could look at it, said, no, absolutely not. Do I look good there? That is not what's happening. And then all the colorizing and the backgrounds, and now there's green screen behind everything. And so there's all this crazy shit going on in there. And it's really cool. Yeah. So it needs to all come out together though. And it'll have some impact, and we'll see what happens, but it's got a better chance of hitting a more mass appeal than anything else that I've ever done.
Yeah, well, 30 plus years, you've been waiting to kind of come out with a song like this. And hey, you can't just go at it half-assed. You got to do it the way, you envision it. So, single video.
I let the songs tell me what they want to be. And they come to me, and they are little lives already, and I can hear them already when they come, and the production styles and stuff like that. I know I let the song dictate who it wants to be and stuff. And that's a big problem that I had with a lot through the Enuff Z'Nuff years, was the kind of a cookie cutter type production method of very the same thing every fucking time, and I was struggling and fighting to get more into orchestration, replace these buzzsaw fucking guitars with actual production. You know what I mean? And that's where we're at now. And I've got a whole lot of new stuff, but I'm just working with a deal with a new label, and we'll see how that goes. And same label, they just licensed and bought up all the Enuff Z'Nuff records, so they're getting re-released, the box set and everything, and that's really great, because they've been all over the fucking place. So it's clusterfuck, and when you know who's releasing what redistribution, all this shit, or let alone try to track down any money made from these things, and somebody's making money because these records have sold. Somebody's making the money, but it certainly wasn't the guy that wrote and sang them all.
Right. I mean, that's crazy that that stuff happens still. I got to watch you through a good part of Beautiful Things as you recorded it and came up with guitar parts and piano and lyrics, and just your whole process was fascinating to someone like me.
Disillusioned the hell out of you, didn't it? Not what you pictured, was it?
Everything's one-dimensional with a lot of these sort of party bands type thing, or heavy, aggressive, like metal music. It's very like the emotions are usually just anger, and aggression. And when I listen to music, I like to sort of feel more than just one emotion, So that's why I've always liked your.
It's not necessarily the fans' fault or people's fault and the public's fault that they aren't as into these influences and stuff like we were into and stuff like that. It's more of it's the industry's fault, because it's what you're presented. I mean, you start being presented by the machine that polka is now the cool thing, and just saturate the market with rock polka. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so then some kids like, oh, okay, well, polka, and then it's like the ripple effect. It's contagious, and that's basically the reason for there's this they manufacture more of what they're selling. It's like a product, It's like, why change the recipe? This is selling this and that, and so that it didn't used to be the case with music. And music, the business was contrived of people's actual tastes and styles and things that they loved, and wanting to share that with other people and stuff like that. And then it would, like DJs broke bands by playing somebody's record that no one's ever heard before. You got to hear this. It's fantastic. You know what I mean? And then the next generation of musician comes in, and he's got all these influences going from that era. And then they would take it to the next level and progress. And and that's why you would have these, you start from the 50s and then the 60s being cooler, then the 70s being amazing, and then you get to the 80s. And the 80s was the beginning of, and the end of all of the fun. It went to, once you got to, Van Halen was kind of made the switch from hard rock, like in the vein of, that you could speak in the same thing as Zeppelin and stuff like that, like hard rock. But then with Dave, came in the party hair band cock rock thing. So they had the best of both worlds, but people started emulating that. And that's about when the labels started just manufacturing more of the same. And then now it's just at the point of where I don't think there's anybody in this business that even knows what the fuck one song from another anymore. You know what I mean? And it's stalled now. It's stagnated probably from the late 90s till currently. There hasn't been a new generation, a new wave of this new style of things. You know what I mean? Like rap has just taken all the great black and Motown and soul R&B stuff that used to be the greatest stuff in the world. And now that's the blacks that are doing that. You know what I mean? Which I don't even consider it should be a whole separate thing in the music business, as far as I'm concerned, with a lot of it. But then country and pop, all the classic country shit, all that stuff like Waylon and all those guys, that's no longer country music. Now country music is pop. Pop is no longer pop because I would be pop. I'm not pop anymore. I'm fucking grandpa. You know what I mean? It's you don't even know what to consider anything anymore, and so it's all stagnated. It's all halted, and the kids nowadays, they don't even know what they're missing.
Yeah, it's very true. It seems like the labels back in the days would, I don't know, at least they must have had, at least A&R people that were into the scene, at least knew what was going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The record labels started. Frank Barcelona from Premiere taught me this. He said that all the major movie companies were the ones that started a record label as well. And they were designed basically to lose money. That was how they're going to write off their money for all the stuff that they did. That's what the music department of their labels would be. And that started to, when the Beatles and stuff started, all of a sudden these records started selling, and it became, and these were, then they're starting, and they needed people to run these labels now, instead of just being something for, blah, 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 put this out and this and that, and people to run them. And the people that started running them were passionate about this stuff, and it was white knuckle. It was like, they're digging and clawing in there and fucking, and it wasn't worried about making millions of dollars and stuff. They loved doing what they were doing. And and it was, there was a passion, and it reflected. And it's just like, technology and everything, that just the whole world has gone the same way as music. It's everything is ruined, and technology is killing things now, as at least the arts and things like that. We've just reached a point and let this stuff, just like you can't call and you got a problem with your fucking cable or something. You can't call and talk to anybody. You got to talk to this fucking, at the top, like this button and this button. And that's the same thing with
so annoying.
Yeah. There's just no connection. You're not connected to anybody. And music is something that hugely was connecting people. People were all brought together by music. You know what I mean? And now it's not that anymore.
No, I mean, you go to music section in Best Buy and look for a CD. It's like you can't even find CDs anymore. It's just all Blu-rays and TVs. And
yeah, I didn't even know they still sell those.
I guess they do.
I remember when they came out. That was my first record. Was the last record. Enuff Z'Nuff debut was the last record in a major label record that was released on a vinyl record, and it almost wasn't going to be, but we had, please, one more record, just ours. I want to hear that little scratchy thing. I want to be on the record, and but I remember that the CDs and stuff, and then when we did like Animals record, Animals, Human Intelligence, that Clive Davis, the dailies that he wants to hear, the daily progress of the record stuff, all had to be printed on a CD. And in those days, it was $350 a CD to make his fucking copies, just to let him hear the dailies and stuff like that, you know. And we're still paying up for those.
Oh, geez.
But I remember that, you know.
What makes an album so special? I mean, just besides the obvious of just holding it and, you know, and is it the sound? Does it have a different sound to you? I mean, I always felt like the band was in a room when I put on a record, as opposed to a CD.
It does have a different sound. Yeah, a record it's the same thing as, like, you notice, like, movies and stuff nowadays look almost like soap operas. They're just too clear. It's too well of resolution and stuff like that. And like you used to watch a movie, and then you're like try to make a movie on your VCR, your video camera and stuff, and it's like it just don't look the same. You know what I mean? And it's a digital process. It's with records. There was you're going through different things where you're overdriving something a little bit, and so it's you could pump something through a compressor or just an output of something going into your record that would be slightly in the red, and it would drive it and give it, like a guitar amplifier. When the old guitar amplifiers, you turn them up loud, those tubes, that's where gain came from. You know what I mean? And that would happen with records and stuff. And then they were taken right from off the tape, big piece of tape. And like I watched it happen with one of our records. They were still making the masters with big thick sheets of vinyl, and took it, went straight from the tape through EQs and stuff, through a mastering guy, right onto a actual turntable sort of thing. And it was actually making the grooves and all of this and that. And it's just, I can't explain all the technical, Jesus Christ. I can't explain all of the technical, terms or what the hell is the exact reason, but it's, there's something about a record that sounds differently, and kids really don't even know. They don't even know or notice, and there's starting to be a kind of a resurge in records, but mostly that's us old timers that want to get stuff on a record again, and and kids they're starting to dig it because that's something that's new. You know what I mean? Put it on a record.
What about the process of making an album digitally as opposed to how you used to do it, back when you used the reel to reels, like you were talking about, do you think when you take something made digitally and put it on a record, do you think it loses anything, or is it still cool? Because I don't have a record player yet. I've been meaning to get one, but
a big factor is in the old days, you used to try to record what you played. Now you trying to play what you recorded. You got so many unlimited tracks, and everything is going through plugins and crystal clear and shit like that. Some people still use a board and stuff like that, but you just there's so much. Everything's too perfect. Everything is clear and too perfect. There's no mesh of all of this coming together, and you used to you only had 24 tracks, and before that you only had 8 tracks, and then there was 4 tracks, and then there was 2 tracks. Like the Beatles did their shit on 2 fucking tracks, and that was by flipping it over and using the B side of a tape as another track. You know what I mean? But a band, you would have to, at the very most, was 24 tracks. The band would have to get all of their information and their whole vibe and message across in 24 tracks, when drums is eating 8 of those. You know what I mean? And then harmonies and stuff like Queen and shit, it's called molting, where you would record 8 tracks of vocals, then you would molt it down to 1, to fit all this information on there. So there's a sound that is generated by all of that process that we are used to, that we grew up loving and knowing, and it's embedded in our hearts and our brains that just isn't there today. And I'm not knocking all of today's music. I think there's a lot of great artists. I really do. There's a lot of great songs, a lot of great artists, but not not as many artists as there are faces. You know, new. You know, what I mean, an artist in our days was you wrote, recorded, and produced your stuff. You know what I mean, and then sang it live. Nowadays, that's not the case. You know what I mean? You got the same producers. Sounds like producing half of the shit that's pop out there these days, and the same writers writing everybody's shit. And you know, it's just. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but all of the everything that was special about things is gone. And just like visual arts, you know what I mean? Artists used to have to take a paintbrush or a pencil and draw something from thin air. Now it's all in Photoshop and digital shit. You just take this and put it over here and this and that. It's all different, man. It's but like I said, you know, today's audience doesn't even know any better, so they know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, the instruments even that people use nowadays, you know, a lot of the times, you know, it's like the EMG pickups, like, you know, get like the best drive you can get, kind of.
Yeah, fuck those things, man.
No, they don't get it, you know.
Your battery's usually dead in those anyway. You know, it's like
I know,
stupid active electronics and stuff like that. It's like, you know, I didn't even know when I first started. I started using those Kramers and stuff and those cock rock guitars and shit. I even had my own model, but I didn't know the difference between. Because I basically that's when I first got my first good guitars. When it, you know, because Enuff Z'Nuff was like my first band. You know what I mean? So before that, it was copies and cheap pieces of shit and stuff. And first thing I got was an old Fender Jazzmaster, and you know, but I didn't know the difference.
Yeah, I didn't know the difference. Your first guitar, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, cut you off.
My first actual guitar ever. I'm gonna tell you a little story. I'll show you. It was when I was a little kid, maybe 3 or 4. My uncles I used to spend a lot of time with my grandparents on the weekends and stuff like that, and live over there because that was some normalcy. That was a safe place, and where everything else when I wasn't there was very dark and you know, not anything that anybody would want to live in those environments. But so I was little, and my uncles lived there, and they were musicians, and they were in their band and stuff like that. And so the guitars that my one uncle Ken, who rest his soul, he just committed suicide last year. His guitar, his first electric guitar, those got kind of left behind, you know, as they moved on to you know, real and good equipment and stuff like that, and they were left there. And here I am, like 4 years old, and standing in the mirror singing Beatles stuff and shit like that. I needed something to hang on my neck and to play and to look cool. And so within the next few years, you know, by the time I was like 13 or so, somehow I don't remember how or why, but that guitar just kind of disappeared. You know what I mean? It was a little electric guitar, a little Tiesco, and it disappeared. And I don't remember what happened to it, but I don't know, it was close to 2 years ago. I think I was playing at my buddy Kevin's place out in Arkansas, and I look on the wall, and there's the guitar, right? It's hanging there, and then I take it down off the wall and I start looking it over. It's the guitar. Here, let me show you it. Let me show you this.
About to see Donnie Vie's first guitar.
It's crazy. It's crazy that this is the actual fucking guitar, and how that came back to me. And then within 2 months that my uncle killed himself, but I got this. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
The little Tiesco Del Rey, you know, it's these were considered like copy pieces of shit, but nowadays they're actually kind of collector's items. But I got the guitar back, you know, because I don't have anything from my whole career, my whole life. I don't have any of my CDs. I don't have nothing. You know what I mean? Just the way my nomad life has been. You know what I mean? I never cared about shit, but I have my first, you know what I mean? That is very, very cool.
That is great, man. That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's cool.
No problem, man. Got to kill time, right? Got to eat up the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about when this pandemic's over, what do you think's going to happen in music, like the industry and all that? Do you think everything will just kind of slowly come back and be kind of how it was, or do you think
No,
things?
this pandemic is not going to be over. It's not going to end. This is the start. I can't wait till 2021, because then we can be done with this year and stuff like that. Well, I have a feeling that, and I hate to say it, but next year, 2021 is going to bring with it thicker fucking shit, and this is going to progress, and it's going to. We just started to get to a point where we were learning to adapt a little bit and starting to learn to live our lives again with all of this going on and under the conditions. And then you've seen what happened by doing that. It's just all of a sudden now it's worse now than it was when it started.
Yeah.
So they're starting to shut everything down again. I don't foresee big concerts and big bands and things like that doing that again for probably ever, until you got like a spacesuit on your fucking. I think it's all going to go. It's all going to go to a whole different way. I think all of that. See, the connectivity is slowly been diminishing, and then this comes along and that diminishes the entire connectivity, and you won't be sitting there with a bunch of other people going crazy watching your favorite artist on the stage and shit like that. That's unfortunately, I think that's gone, man. I think it's. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to find out where it goes. Even if the world even makes it through this, you never know. This could get so bad, this, and the ripple effect of it and what it could lead to this could be it. You never know. So that's why I suggest that people start not worrying about how terrible and how fucked up and this is lame and this is lame. Start cherishing and living each day and appreciating that you still can be outside and have a sunny day and nice weather and things like to drink the water that comes out of the sink and breathe the air that's in the. And start appreciating that shit and I do believe it's brought families a little closer together again, because people that weren't ever home or did anything with their families and stuff, all of a sudden now they have to be. You have to actually oversee and your children's education now, because they're doing it at home. You have to be focused on this, and these are important things that are forcing you to focus back on, and instead of all of the meaningless fucking shit that it's just gotten out of control. That things have been becoming less special, and in a way, this has at least grounded and brought back some of forcing people to connect again. And it's like when you started out with the masks and stuff, going to the store and stuff, and you'd see somebody wearing one. You notice there was always like a kind of an acknowledgement to each other, like you got your mask down, I smile or something like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. That right there, it's just there was a little bit of connectivity coming back to that thing, and I very much believe in the powers. There's powers and things that are out there that don't even meet the eye, and I know as I've been there, I've been dead, and I've been to that. I maybe have told you this story. I've seen a peak of what happens outside of this body, and there was still a conscious awareness too. It was It wasn't like I wasn't still aware. I mean, I was conscious aware, but things like having to see or hear or this and that, things that weren't an element anymore. Those were everything. It just showed how irrelevant, how the relevance of the irrelevance of everything that we worry about and stuff, like how an ant. Oh, you pay no attention to this ant. He's carrying this crumb. He's got to get there. It's going to take him, but I'll be damned if he's not trying his hardest, and that's his job he's got to do. That's basically what we are, only on a bigger scale. You know what I mean? And something's looking down at us, like, it's ridiculous. But I think that there's the way things happen. There's no coincidences, and I think that everything, even to the smallest extent, there's a purpose for each an individual being, person, plant, this and that. One thing one thing fuels the other. One thing works hand in hand with the other. And, and it's just society and the manipulation of, men or human beings, I don't know, to say greed or agendas that have slowly taken the nature out of everything and the natural and become manufactured. And everything's becoming like the Bible and stuff like that. It's all manufactured, written by men and stuff.
Right.
And I personally know that it's much simpler than all of that. And there's wars and stuff that are fought and millions of people killed over things that that I have personally found that aren't even the case. You know what I mean? It's much simpler but much more complex at the same time. It's something that's not comprehensible to people. You just can't comprehend it until you experience it. And like a newborn baby comes out of the womb, he doesn't know anything. You can't hear, can't talk. You don't know how to do, anything. That's how it was for me there, but it brought an awareness. But there's a reason this is all happening. My fans aren't that way. That's another great thing about them, They like to see good things happen, and they're very grateful and appreciative.
Yeah, well, I think I speak for all of us when I say keep making those records, man. Keep those songs pumping out.
I'd like to be able to make more complete records because I have the material, I can follow beautiful things. I have the next level of stuff, that's evolving still yet from there. But it's just the cost of it is, you can't make a real record that's worth a shit for even close to under 20, 25 grand, and that's a lot of money for, for somebody that aside from doing this doesn't work.
True.
Yeah.
But
all those songs, I don't know what I'm going to do with them if I can't make any more records. If I just release a single at a time, I have to stop writing now because I got enough to last me the rest of my life.
I figured you probably got your next couple albums written by now, at least like an album and a half.
Well, I got enough that when I pick the best and like with the Beautiful Things record, wasn't necessarily all of the greatest songs that I could come up with. They all fit together. They all work together like as a team. Yeah. And so it's picking the ones that from those that make out of all of them, picking 10. I gotta give you a money back guarantee. It'll be amazing.
Oh, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on a title for the next album?
Maybe The King of Power Pop.
There you go.
I like that title.
That's cool. You definitely are the king of power pop. There's no one comes close. I like that jacket you got on.
Oh, thanks. I haven't worn this in ages. It's a little chilly today down here, and I'm in the basement area. You know what I mean? And dude, this room is so fucking awesome. My studio and my bedroom and shit. It's the greatest room. It's where I'd rather be than anywhere in the whole world.
You just wake up and go right to the recording studio, right? I mean, you got everything right there. I
actually do that the least I've ever done in my life with having the nice setup, and I'm comfortable and things. Now it's like I can see how when guys get rich that their music suffers and stuff like that because you don't have that hunger and shit. But I'm still starving, so I fucking still go at it. But I don't spend anywhere near enough time doing this because I got so much stuff that should be recorded and I don't want it to die in here,
Right. Yeah, just get the ideas down, Like I always prefer.
I can't do that. I can't do that. I start doing something. I want to hear it myself. I'm a fan of things that I do. I want to hear it. You know what I mean?
I want to hear the finished product.
At least all of the things, all of the ideas and stuff I'm hearing together, or the way the song is being presented to me from wherever it comes from.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to hear it with my ears, and I can't. And it kills me that other people can't hear these yet.
Right.
I want other people to hear this stuff. I get excited about some of these new songs each time. I wrote one the other day. I still can't figure out what the title of it is or what the words are. I hear the vowels and the syllables, but the song is so fucking great, you know, and I just can't wait to hear it myself first and then other people to hear it. But
Yeah.
I've got a number of those, you know what I mean? But there's occasionally those one, you know, that's like, wow, I've written a lot of great songs, and it's hard to find a challenge anymore, to challenge myself with, you know, without many songs that I've written in the level standards that I've set for myself, and I keep the bar high and stuff,
Right.
but it's still this, so I'm not challenged. And so that's, you lose a little bit of the passion for something when, you know, I want to do something fresh in a way, though. I like to try to work in some of today's production styles and things to what I do, and see how my stuff fares with that, you know what I mean? And see how I stand with that stuff. If you know, the songs and my voice, and even if it's not me singing, if it's writing for somebody else or something, you know, just something that might have any kind of possibility whatsoever of making more than $50.
Jeez. Rock and roll's best kept secret, Mr. Donnie V. Thank you, brother, for joining us once again, and you come back on the show anytime.
I'm sure you mean that, and you know I will. Keep in touch, Scott.
All right, brother. I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy. Take it easy.